Welcome to extraterrestrial reality. There was an article in The Sun. Now, of course, as you know, The Sun is not, it's basically a tabloid type newspaper. And, but it had an interesting article here. Basically it's fear mongering though. I gotta say this is fear mongering, but at the same time, there are some, it is truthful in its own little way. What's interesting, what makes the article really interesting to me is that it has Nick Pope in there. He's that former official with the British Ministry of Defense. He's been on for decades now. You see him in documentaries on TV all the time. A lot of so-called UFO-tainment type, documentaries. But anyhow, there was this article in The Sun, which I will leave the link for in the description. And basically the headline here, Space Invaders, Alien Invasion would be game over for Earth as UFO super predator weapons could wipe out life in heartbeat, expert says. Now, I've talked about this before, actually. I mean, in fact, in a way, I'm guilty of it too, that, but it's the truth. I mean, it's just something to think about. I mean, with this, if there was an alien force that were to come to Earth that wanted to take over, I mean, they could do it. I mean, if there's something that's hundreds of thousands, a million years more advanced than humankind, and they wanted to, take over this planet and get rid of us, I mean, I'm sure that they could do that. But anyhow, we'll read some of this article here. And it says here, a future extraterrestrial invasion would be game over for Earth as the super predator technology aliens would possess could wipe out life in a heartbeat, a UFO expert warns. Nick Pope, who investigated UFOs for the British government, warned that humans are likely to encounter aliens that are millions or billions of years ahead. A lot of times I just want to stop this. Millions or billions. I mean, it sounds insane. Something that could be a billion years more advanced than humankind. I might have mentioned that once in one of my podcasts, the possibility that something could be a billion years more advanced. But it's hard to say that because it sounds so ridiculous. It's like in Austin Powers in the first movie, Dr. Evil, after being in cryogenic freeze for since the 1960s into the late 90s, when he comes out of it, he wants to extort money from the nations of the world, and he makes that big announcement that it's for a mere $1 million, right? And then he's basically his cohorts, that's not how things are. It's, we're worth a lot more than, we would want a lot more than just $1 million. And then he reluctantly, demands $100 billion. Because that's, to him it sounded ridiculous because he just came right out of the 60s into the late 90s, but that's what that sounds to me when you're saying something that could be billions of years ahead of us. Billions, it sounds insane, but at the same time, it's a possibility. For as far-fetched as this Sun article is, and obviously the Sun does things like this. I mean, this is tabloid kind of material. This is something to get people upset and scared, and but at the same time, this one does present, it does have Nick Pope. I mean, of course, he's a guy that shows up again on a lot of documentaries. Some of them, are, I wouldn't say are the best kind of documentaries to watch, but he's been a face out there. He's been a voice in the main, basically in the UFO-tainment industry now for decades. You see him a lot. But anyway, the article continues here. He told The Sun that the technology gap between the two species would be unimaginable. Pope added, quote, when European explorers encountered Native Americans, it was guns and horses against bows and arrows. If we face an alien invasion, it would be stealth fighters against bows and arrows. And even that is understanding the technology, and even that is understanding the technology that they would have. The technology would be indistinguishable from magic. It's almost unimaginable. The weapons that an alien civilization may have could wipe out life in a heartbeat. Now, before I continue here, now it's interesting. I just made a statement like this this week. I mentioned in in one of my videos about Oumuamua, where that Native Americans, when they faced Europeans, I mean, it was just an unfair fight. But anyway, continuing. Pope speculated that there could be up to trillions of various civilizations out there, warning that some may be friendly or hostile. He said, quote, "It only takes the existence of one super predator species and you're in trouble," end quote. Pope previously warned that humans are, quote, toast if ETs invade. He said, quote, "If we are being visited, a civilization that has figured out viable interstellar travel is going to be able to crack this planet open like a nut if they wanted to." The chilling, end quote. The chilling warning comes as Professor Paul Springer from the United States Air Command and Staff College in Alabama believes aliens would colonize Earth similar to how the Europeans colonized the Americas 300 years ago. He speculated that Earth's nukes would be eliminated with lasers or improvised weapons such as asteroids guided to targets in a theoretical invasion. And self-proclaimed TikTok time travelers wildly predicted that alien invasion would lead to an interdimensional conflict with the United States. Last year saw the publication of the Pentagon's eagerly anticipated investigation into unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, but it concluded that 143 alleged sightings by U.S. military pilots since 2004 remain unexplained. Anyway, I'm not going to read this whole thing. I just want to talk about what Nick Pope is trying to say here. Now, first off, let's figure out, okay, why was this article written? Okay, it was written by some guy named Chris Bradford, or why? What was the purpose behind this? Okay, was he just sitting, okay, what am I going to write about? I need to write something about UFOs. Okay, how would they maybe he had an idea of, it came to him, well, if I could talk to somebody, they could tell me, what it would be like if they destroyed the planet, if there was a race of violent aliens out there, predators that wanted to take over a planet, and how would they go about it? And so then he poses these questions to Nick Pope, and then Nick Pope provides answers. And then the guy gets the story that he wanted. Okay? Again, it's the sun. It's the sun, so you got to, be wary. But at the same time, it is true. I mean, now, I don't know about these other comments by... This Professor Paul Springer, he's saying that the Earth's nuclear weapons could be eliminated with lasers or improvised weapons such as asteroids. I mean, now there's been incidents throughout the decades. In the 60s, actually, there's been times where apparently a UFO would just show up at a nuclear site, a nuclear weapons site silo, and basically shut down all the weapons. Shut down the system. I don't know if they would have to do anything like as drastic as this. I mean, they could just send their saucers to all these locations if they wanted to, and just shut everything down, and or they could just maybe. I don't think they would do this because it would destroy the planet. But if they wanted to, they could make us fire upon each other all at the same time without anybody being able to stop it. I don't think they would do that, though. Why would they want to destroy the planet if they wanted to take it over? They didn't want to have a nuclear fallout situation. However. Again, it would be. I mean, if there was a race out there of extraterrestrials that are advanced millions or billions or hundreds of thousands of years or whatever, and they wanted to take this planet, they would be able to do it. But also, you have to wonder, though, at the same time, the extraterrestrials that are obviously here, apparently here right now, right? What would they have to say about it? Or here's another thing to think about. Okay, nobody knows. I mean, as far as these extraterrestrial beings that are here now, like how advanced are they? Is there something out there that's even more advanced than they are that they don't even know about? I mean, there's just so many questions. I would imagine that there are. I mean, forget about just the galaxy. Think about the universe. The billions of galaxies throughout the entire universe, and all the trillions and upon trillions of different planets that could harbor life out there. There could be things out there that are more advanced than the ones that are already here. Now, I can't imagine something that advanced being that hostile. However, I have trouble with that. But then again, you never know. Like for instance, say the Nazis had won World War II, where would we be right now? How would things be? I mean, say that, and somehow that kept on advancing. With that kind of mentality, I don't think it would be good. I mean, would they still be? Would there still be a policy of mass murder of people they don't like? There's a lot of questions with that. I mean, but could you imagine some alien planet out there that's maybe hundreds of thousands of millions of years, billions, it sounds ridiculous again, more advanced than we are? Could you imagine if something like at some point a Nazi like group took control of that one of these places and it just grew from there? How would it last forever? Would it last that through that many years? Again, who knows? I don't know if it could. I just don't know how a civilization could survive like that. I mean, basically killing itself. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, in my viewpoint, for a civilization, for a planet of intelligent beings, right, to advance, right, I think they all got to get on the same page at some point. Right, everybody has to be. It has to be an equal situation, right, and go from there. And I don't think once you get to that point, I don't think that you develop a viewpoint that you want to go out and conquer other worlds out there, other planets where there's life forms that are not as technologically advanced as you are. I don't see that. Doesn't make sense to me. But then again, none of this makes sense. There's not a lot of answers, right? When it comes to this, there are not a lot of answers. We don't even know what's going on here right now. We know that there's something going on. Our government has admitted so much. There's things out there. They've told us they don't know what they are. Okay, so now there you go. For those people who didn't believe this for all these years, okay, guess what? The government's telling you now. They told you there's objects. We don't know where they're coming from. We don't know who's operating them. They throw in that little proviso that it could be China or Russia, but it's not. I know it's not. These things this has been going on for decades. Okay, they're finally coming out with it publicly. So, where does this? Again, I just don't know. What this is all about. Like, what does all of this mean? What's going on right now? Again, there's so many questions we have. It's hard to even, if that was to happen, what are we going to do anyhow? There's nothing you could do. If there was some race of predator alien that decides they want to take over and get rid of us, they're going to do it no matter what. Again, unless the extraterrestrial presence that's already here has something to say about it and has the ability to fight back, because I don't think that we would have the ability to fight back. How could you fight back? How could we fight back? We just don't have the technology that these beings have, obviously. When you consider all the things that they're able to do with alien abductions, making people forget about things, showing up like or in broad daylight or in the middle of the night, whenever, just be able to take someone from pluck them out of the middle of their day or the middle of the night, whenever, and do things with them and then return them, and they don't even remember. And they have craft that basically looks like it could disappear and move in ways that, it's incredible what we see here, the things that are going on here. So I just don't see like how we would have a chance if they wanted to invade. But again, I think this whole article, the whole purpose of this article was basically fear mongering. I guess that's, if you want to sell, you want to get eyeballs on ads. I guess this is a way to do it. Okay, and you put an article out there like this, a what if kind of article, and it's entertaining. This is entertaining to read because you get, but at the same time, it does have the auspices of truth. It's not. These things could happen. If in fact there is a group of extraterrestrials out there, a civilization that has that considers doing things like this, it could possibly be. We just don't know.